Good Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome into today's daily Bible reading for October the 11th. Today, we're reading together in First Chronicles, chapters 6 and 7, which is going to discuss in chapter 6 the Levites and a lot of details concerning their lineage and genealogy. And then in chapter 7, we're going to look at Issachar's descendants, Benjamin's descendants, Naphtali's descendants, Manasseh's descendants, Ephraim's descendants, and Asher's descendants. Not a lot going on there apart from just the reading of the genealogy. So not much to talk about there, but we'll have some more to say about the priest here in chapter 6, just a little bit. There's a little bit more detail that we might be able to focus on a bit. Just a few things to mention to remind us of what the Levites were doing and such from the text that we previously read in earlier readings of the daily Bible reading for this year. So let me get the text on the screen for us. We'll read along together here in First Chronicles 6 and 7. First Chronicles chapter 6, verse number 1. Levi's sons, Gershom, Kohath, and Merari. Kohath's sons, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. Amram's children, Aaron, Moses, and Miriam. Miriam's sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Eleazar fathered Phinehas, and Phinehas fathered Abishua. Abishua fathered Buki. Buki fathered Uzi. Uzi fathered Zerahiah. Zerahiah fathered Meraioth, there we go, Meraioth, and Meraioth fathered Amariah. Amariah fathered Ahitub. Ahitub fathered Zadok. Zadok fathered Ahimaaz. Ahimaaz fathered Azariah. Azariah fathered Johanan. Johanan fathered Azariah, who served as priest in the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem. Azariah fathered Amariah. Amariah fathered Ahitub. Ahitub fathered Zadok. Zadok fathered Shallum. Shallum fathered Hilkiah. Hilkiah fathered Azariah. Azariah fathered Sariah. And Sariah fathered Jehozadak. Jehozadak went into exile when Yahweh sent Judah and Jerusalem into the exile at the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. Levi's sons, Gershom, Kohath, and Merari. These are the names of Gershom's sons, Libni and Shimei. Kohath's sons, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. Merari's sons, Mali and Mushi. These are the Levites' families according to their fathers. Of Gershom, his son Libni, his son Jahath, his son Zima, his son Joah, his son Edo, his son Zerah, and his son Jeretherai. Kohath's sons, his son Aminadab, his son Korah, his son Asir, his son Elkanah, his son Ebiasaph, his son Asir, his son Tahath, his son Uriel, his son Uzziah, and his son Shaul. Elkanah's sons, Amasai and Ahimoth, his son Elkanah, his son Zophai, his son Nahath, his son Eliab, his son Jeroham, and his son Elkanah. Samuel's sons, his firstborn Joel, and his second son Abijah. Merari's sons, Mali, his son Libni, his son Shimei, his son Uzzah, his son Shemaiah, his son Haggiah, and his son Isaiah. These are the men David put in charge of the music in Yahweh's temple after the ark came to rest there. They ministered with song in front of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, until Solomon built Yahweh's temple in Jerusalem. I guess I forgot to highlight this one. Anyways, they're the ones that and they performed their task according to the regulations given to them. We see here in the text, these are the men who served with their sons. From the Kohathites, Heman the singer, son of Joel, son of Samuel. From Elkanah, son of Jeroham, son of Eliel, son of Toa, son of Zuph, son of Elkanah, son of Mahath, son of Amasai, son of Elkanah, son of Joel, son of Azariah, son of Zephaniah, son of Tahath, son of Asir, son of Abiasaph, son of Korah, son of Ishar, son of Kohath, son of Levi, son of Israel. So that genealogy is going backwards, where a lot of them are moving forwards. This one's going backwards. Heman's relative was Asaph, who stood at his right hand. Asaph, son of Berechiah, son of Shemaiah, son of Mikael, son of Baaseiah, son of Melchijah, son of Ethni, son of Zerah, son of Adiah, son of Ethan, son of Zima, son of Shammai, son of Jahath, son of Gershom, son of Levi. On the left, their relatives were Merari's sons, Ethan, son of Kishi, son of Abdi, son of Maluk, son of Hashabiah, son of Amaziah, son of Hilkiah, son of Amzi, son of Bani, son of Shamir, son of Mali, son of Mushi, son of Merari, son of Levi. So again, we're working backwards at that moment. Their relatives, the Levites, were assigned to all the service of the tabernacle, God's temple. But Aaron and his sons did all the work of the most holy place. They presented the offerings on the altar of burnt offerings and on the altar of incense to make atonement for Israel according to all that Moses, the servant of God, had commanded. Though these are Aaron's sons, his son Eleazar, his son Phinehas, his son Abishua, his son Buki, his son Uzi, his son Zerahiah, his son Merioth, his son Amariah, his son Ahitub, his son Zadok, and his son Ahimaaz. These were the places assigned to Aaron's descendants from the Kohathite family for their settlements in the territory, because the first lot was for them. They were given Hebron in the land of Judah and its surrounding pasture lands, but the fields and settlements around the city were given to Caleb, son of Jephunneh. Aaron's descendants were given Hebron, a city of refuge, Libnah and its pasture lands, Jatir, Eshtemoa and its pasture lands, Helin and its pasture lands, Debir and its pasture lands, Ashan and its pasture lands, and Beth Shemesh and its pasture lands. From the tribe of Benjamin, they were given Geba and its pasture lands, Alameeth and its pasture lands, Anathoth and its pasture lands. They had 13 towns in all among their families. To the rest of the Kohathites, 10 towns from the half tribe of Manasseh were assigned by lot. The Gershomites were assigned 13 towns from the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and Manasseh in Bashan, according to their families. The Merarites were assigned by lot 12 towns from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun, according to their families. So the Israelites gave these towns and their pasture lands to the Levites. They assigned by the lots named above from the tribes of the descendants of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. Some of the families of the Kohathites were given towns from the tribe of Ephraim for their territory. Shechem, a city of refuge, with its pastured lands in the hill country of Ephraim, Gezer and its pastured lands, Jokmeam and its pastured lands, Beth Horon and its pastured lands, Aijalon and its pastured lands, and Gath Ramon and its pasture lands. From the half of the tribe of Manasseh, Onur and its pasture lands, Beliam and its pasture lands were given to the rest of the families of the Kohathites. The Gershomites received Golan in Bashan and its pasture lands, and Ashtaroth and its pasture lands from the families of the half tribe of Manasseh. From the tribe of Issachar, they received Kedesh and its pasture lands, Dabaroth and its pasture lands, Ramoth and its pasture lands, and Anim and its pasture lands. From the tribe of Manasseh, they received Mashal and its pasture lands, Abdon and its pasture lands, Hukok and its pasture lands, and Rehob and its pasture lands. From the tribe of Naphtali, they received Kadesh in Galilee and its pasture lands, Hamon and its pasture lands, and Kiriathaim and its pasture lands. The rest of the Merarites received from the land of Zebulun, they received Ramono and its pasture lands, and Tabor and its pasture lands. From the tribe of Reuben, they across the Jordan at Jericho, to the east of the Jordan, they received Bezer and its pasture lands, Jaza and its pasture lands, Kedemoth and its pasture lands, and Methaath and its pasture lands. From the tribe of Gad, they received Ramoth and Gilead and its pasture lands, Mahanaim and its pasture lands, Heshbon and its pasture lands, and Jazer and its pasture lands. That's done with Levites. Chapter 7, Issachar's sons, Tola, Pua, Jashub, and Shimron. 4, Tola's sons, Uzi, Raphiah, Jeriel, Jamai, Ibsam, Shemuel, and the heads of their ancestral families. During David's reign, 22,600 descendants of Tola were recorded as valiant warriors in their family records. Uzi's sons is Raiah's sons, Mikael, Obadiah, Joel, Ishiah. All 5 of them were chiefs. Among them, they had 36,000 troops for battle, according to the family records of their ancestral families, for they had many wives and children. Their tribesmen were valiant warriors belonging to all the families of Issachar, totaled 87,000 in their genealogies. 3 of Benjamin's sons, Bela, Becher, and Jediel. Bela's sons, Isbon, Uzi, Uziel, Jerimoth, and Eri. 5. They were valiant warriors and heads of their ancestral families. 22,034 were listed in their genealogies. Baker's sons, Zimra, Joash, Eleazar, Elionai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, and Alemeth. All these were Becher's sons. Their family records were recorded according to the heads of their ancestral families, 20,200 valiant warriors. Jediel's son, Bilhan, Bilhan's sons, Jush, Benjamin, Ehud, Chin'an, there we go, Chin'ana, Zethon, Tarshish, and Ahishahar. All these sons of Jediel listed, Jediel listed by family heads were valiant warriors. They were 17,200 who could serve in the army. Shupim and Hupim were sons of Ir, and Hushim, and the Hushim were the sons of Aher. Naphtali's sons, Jaziel, Guni, Jazer, and Shalom, Bilhah's sons. Manasseh's sons, through his Aramean concubine, Azriel, and Machir, the father of Gilead. Machir took wives from Hupim and Shupim. The name of his sister was Ma'akah. Another descendant was named Zelophehad, but he only had daughters. Machir's wife Ma'akah gave birth to a son, and she named him Peresh. His brother was named Sheresh, and his sons were Ulam and Rakim. Ulam's sons Badan. These were the sons of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh. His sister Hamolecheth gave birth to Ishhod, Abiezer, and Malah. Shemida's sons, Ahian, Shemek, Likai, and Aniam. Ephraim's sons, Shu-Thelah, and his son Bered, his son Tahath, his son Eliada, his son Tahath, and his son Zabad, his son Shuthelah, also Ezir and Eliad. The men of Gath, born in the land, killed them because they had went down to raid their cattle. Their father Ephraim mourned a long time, and his relatives came to comfort him. He slept with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. So he named him Beriah, because he had the misfortune, because he had been misfortunate, or because there had been misfortune in his home. His daughter was Sherah, who built lower and upper Beth Horon, and Uzin She'erah. His son Repha, and his son Resheph, his son Tela, his son Tahan, his son Ladan, his son Amihud, his son Elishama, his son Nun, and his son Joshua. Their holdings and settlement were Bethel and its surrounding villages, Naaran to the east, Gezer and its villages to the west, and Shechem and its villages as far as Ayah and its villages, and along the borders of the descendants of Manasseh, Beth Shean, Ta'anak, Megiddo, and Dor, with their surrounding villages. The sons of Joseph, son of Israel, lived in these towns. Asher's sons, Imnah, Ishvi, and Beriah, with their sister Sarah. Beriah's sons, Heber, Malkiel, who fathered Bizraith. Heber fathered Japhlet, Shomer, Hotham, and their sister Shua. Japhlet's sons, Pasak, Bimhal, and Ashvath. These were Japhlet's sons. Shemer's sons, Ahi, Rogla, Huba, and Aram. His sons, his brother Helam's sons, Zophah, Imnah, Shelesh, and Amal. Zophah's sons, Sua, Harnefer, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezer, Hod, Shama, Shilshah, Ithran, and Beera. Jether's sons, Jephannah, Pispa, and Ara. Ulah's sons, Arah, Haniel, and Rizia. All these were Asher's descendants. They were heads of their ancestral families, chosen men, valiant warriors, and chiefs among the leaders. The number of men listed in their genealogies for military service was 26,000. And that concludes the reading of First Chronicles chapter 6 and chapter 7. Just think about what we just read in chapter 7. You might be wondering, why in the world would the chronicler, and shame on y'all for not telling me I was trying to pronounce that word correctly. I was sitting here kept saying chronicler or something like that whenever it's just chronicler. Thankfully, glad I heard somebody else say it the right way. Anyways, the chronicler, why would he feel the need to list all these people? Well, it's probably not very interesting to us, being so far removed from the events of the Old Testament and not being our family. But think about it again from the perspective of those who had come back from exile and who were receiving this writing. Think about being able to read about your history, that this where you are right now, this land is the homeland. This land is the land that was promised to you by the great Yahweh, the God of Israel. And now here you are, and you're able to read about your roots within this land. That certainly would be very encouraging. And again, to show the people that they are back where they belong. And that would be something necessary to motivate them, hopefully, to live the right way moving forward so that, they're not kicked out again. And so that their descendants won't have to go through and, just hope that they understand that, there's a better place for them, a promised land and things of that nature. So for us, not that much would be very important. There's a couple of things I mentioned here. Issachar is obviously known as warriors, having 87,000 in there. Naphtali's descendants, there's not much written about them because many people believe that not many Naphtali descendants came back from exile. Having Manasseh and Ephraim mentioned here were important because it showed them that they were legitimate tribes. Some might say, well, they weren't sons of Israel, so why did they get mentioned here? Well, again, we go back to what we read yesterday with Joseph receiving the birthright, meaning he got a double portion. Here they are listed here, just showing that they are legitimate. They matter. They belong, especially for Ephraim. I mean, they end up being a very strong tribe. They're often pushing Judah for the title of being the strongest tribe. And in fact, whenever there comes the division of the kingdom in the prophets, especially the northern tribes of Israel, actually they're given the moniker of Ephraim. Like that's who they're known as, because it was such a strong tribe within that particular territory. So we have that written here, and just again, maybe not very exciting for us, maybe not super interesting, but remember, this wasn't written directly to us. There were those who received it originally, and it matters to them, and we should respect that and certainly appreciate that about this text. And just give it some attention and try to read it from time to time, and to know that we have a familiarity here with the text. Now, chapter 6, though, talks a lot about the Levites, and that's really important because, again, the Levites need to be a staple within Israel. They needed to continue on so they could perform their duties as the spiritual leaders of Israel. It's important to remember, though, that all priests were Levites, yes, but not all Levites were priests. It seems that the first list, if I'm reading this correctly, is verses 5 through 15. This is the priest line. This tells about all the priests who served within the tabernacle system and also within the temple system later on. We see that in verse number 10. It gives us the timestamp that it was Johanan, who fathered Azariah, and Azariah, who served as priest in the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem. So we have that time set given to us. Then we're told that Jehozadak went into exile when Yahweh sent Judah and Jerusalem into exile at the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. So we have those time stamps given to us. And then beginning of verse 16 going through 30, we just have the normal Levites, those who are not in the priestly line. But also remember that the different families of Levites, the Kohathites, the Gershonites, and the Merarites, all of them had very important roles that they played still within the nation of Israel. Remember, they were the ones who were responsible for packing up and moving the tabernacle whenever they moved from place to place during the time of the wilderness wanderings. So all that's important, and especially again for the Levites, it was important for them to know their lineage because they needed to know whether or not they were Levites. They needed to know whether or not they were going to be able to serve as priests and had these very specific functions that they were to carry out within the nation of Israel. Because if they don't know that, then bad things can happen. And think about just going back to our reading through the Judges. What happened whenever men became priests who were not Levites, who were not the proper priest? Well, bad things happened. And think about Saul performing some things that were kind of priestly duties he was supposed to. Again, not good as well. So it was important for them to have this. They have this now. Once they're back from exile, they're able to study this and just know, again, this is where we come from. And, these are the people who perform these various functions here within the nation of Israel. Again, God was very specific about who he wanted to do these things, and they need to make sure that they knew who should and should not be doing these very important tasks. So if you have any questions about this chapter here, chapter 6 or 7 of First Samuel, or excuse me, First Samuel, man, I'm going all sorts messed up, of First Chronicles, please feel free to leave that in the comment section below. And we'll keep working through this text tomorrow, reading together chapters 8 and 9. And then I think after that, we just have chapter 10 to get into, because then we're going to get back more into the narrative portions, which while we enjoy, we certainly, I know that's my favorite portion to read, just to read through the stories and such, read through the narrative portions. But it's good for us to look at this text and again, try to put ourselves in the shoes of those who received it. Why is this important, and what can we learn from it? What is the purpose? Hopefully you can now say, if you've never gone through the genealogy in First Chronicles before, once we get done tomorrow, you can say that you've done that. You can go get that Boy Scout or Girl Scout badge. Again, I appreciate you tuning in today. Looking forward to seeing everybody tonight for our monthly song, scripture, and supplication service. Should be a very encouraging night. Very much looking forward to seeing everybody to spend time worshiping and praising God together. Again, have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Take care and God bless.